I had the chance to catch up with Michael Russell, who is the Scottish Brexit Secretary. So he is the person who's representing the Scottish government as far as these discussions are taking place. And I caught up with him yesterday. He's obviously here at the MEDEF conference in Paris, which is interesting to begin with, because anyway, it's a conference that deals with local businesses and fostering local enterprises and that sort of thing. And so the fact that he's here is interesting to begin with. And he said that the reason for the motivation for him coming was to help foster the relationships and ancient relationships between Scotland and France, and that to begin with, Scotland didn't vote for Brexit at the very first place. So I asked him whether at this point in time he's thinking perhaps Brexit is reversible. Let's take a listen.
Well, it's not taken place, so by definition, if it hasn't taken place, then there's still
But
hope.
we're moving in that direction.
Well, I think the question is, if it takes place, what happens thereafter? And at the present moment, if it takes place, it looks pretty awful in terms of what the UK government is saying about hard Brexits and how things will go. What Scotland needs to do is to make sure it is protected to the ultimate against the effects of Brexit, which we've estimated will be very damaging, and find a way through it. And I hope eventually, as an independent country, to rejoin the EU, because that's our position.
Would the Chequers deal be a deal that's amenable to you?
No, the Chequers deal is marginally better than some of the things that have gone before, but of course it doesn't command even the support of Theresa May's own party, let alone any wider. The Chequers deal is seen by her as a final statement of what she wants. To everybody else who looks at it, particularly in Europe, it's a work in progress, it's an evolution. But even in that limited form, she can't get many of her own supporters to back it. The political situation in the UK in these circumstances is very unstable. I think it's difficult to see what is going to happen. What in Scotland we have to say is, can we protect ourselves from that type of damage? And that's what we're trying to do. That's my job.
And if you can't protect yourself from that type of damage, just to use your phraseology there, is Scotland heading towards another referendum in the UK?
Well, I think the question there is, people will have to choose. They will have to choose between a British Brexit or independence. Now, I don't know when they will choose that, because we don't know the terms of the British Brexit. But I think our First Minister has been pretty clear on that, and I'm clear on that as well. The timing of that, we don't know. But the issue is clear. In 2014, when the Scottish people narrowly voted against independence, two things were important. One was there was a status quo. There is no status quo now. You can't go backwards. But the second one is, one of the big arguments was you can't stay in Europe if you become independent. We found out that wasn't true. The reverse is true. We're being taken out of Europe against our wishes because we voted to stay in Europe. So it is a big issue. It'll need resolved. But when it is resolved, like most things in Brexit, it's hard to say.
For me, the big takeaway there is he said that one of the big arguments against the Scottish independence referendum when they did this was that they couldn't be a part of Europe if they were still part of the UK. The reverse is true now.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.